everybody, it's Fiora Music here, reporting live from the GTA, Greater Toronto Area, not to be confused with Grand Theft Auto, which surprisingly happens quite frequently. Thank you so much to We Are Here, Linda Perry, and Carrie Brown for having me on today. It's super surreal times, in the truest sense. And as a creative myself, music producer, songwriter, artist, I feel like I've been preparing for lockdown mode for a while. Because to be truthful, I'm usually in hermit mode anyway. Today I'm going to be doing some acoustic versions of originals and cover songs, and then I'll be joined by sister artist duo extraordinaire Neoni to chat about what it means being a creative during these pandemic times. So anyway, without further ado, this first one is an original. It's called There's a Light. And I did this one with the artist Sweet Talk Radio, who are lovely, lovely, lovely people and even lovelier artists. Thank you. Oh, I know the times are hard, the days grow longer, but we are stronger than we ever were at the start. Oh, it's true, the shadows come from undercover, but with each other, we can all face the dark. At the edge of breaking, hold our breath, we're bracing for the end, but this is not the end. There's a light at the other side of the tunnel. It'll be alright if we keep our eyes on the light. Seems far away and subtle, though hard to see. I still believe, no matter how dark the night, there's a light. There's a light. Oh, we feel the hurt, the pain, but it is fading. The world is changing, but we will not fall apart. On the edge of breaking, hold our breath, we're bracing for the end, but this is not the end. There's a light at the other side of the tunnel. It'll be alright if we keep our eyes on the light. Seems far away and subtle, though hard to see. I still believe, no matter how dark the night, we hold our breath, we count to 10, we make a wish, and then, whoa, whoa, there's a light at the other side of the tunnel. It'll be alright. It'll be alright. There's a light. Thank you. So I hope everyone's doing well during these global pandemic times. I think one thing that I haven't fully appreciated the use of before has been FaceTime and Zoom Room and interaction with other people, family and friends via technology. And I'm still not that amazing at it, but getting better, hopefully. This next one is another original. It's called Limitless, and it's about how despite the heavy burdens that the world may place on our shoulders, having the ability to rise above. That being said, we're limitless, but we are not immortal. So stay locked down, stay quarantining, stay safe. Thanks. Buried in the chaos, cold as stone. Am I 6 feet under, or am I looking over? Body is breaking, fear to the bone. Ground beat all shaking, but a voice calls out, ooh, I'll meet you at the edge of the world, ooh, way above all the wreckage and hurt, because I am limitless. Will rise with tomorrow. I am limitless. This new revolution, limitless, limitless, oh, limitless. I am limitless. Head above water, floating up. Can't pull me down now. Be free from the anchor. Invisible creature, tide turns within. Won't drown, I keep breathing. Find myself again. Ooh, I'll meet you at the edge of the world, ooh, way above all the wreckage and hurt, because I am limitless. Will rise with tomorrow. I am limitless. This new revolution, limitless, limitless, oh, limitless. I am limitless. Thank you. All right. So that was called Limitless. One thing that I've been fortunate enough in my career so far as an artist is having placements and traction in film and TV platforms. And what I love about film and TV specifically is that I myself find music that I vibe out to via film and TV. So, you hear a song and you're like, I'm going to Shazam that, I love that. So this next one is a cover by this artist, Newfoundland, and it's called What Is Love? I love this song right now. I'm really into it. So I hope you will be too. Thanks. What is love but a constant struggle? What's the heart but the pounding? What are we when the tide is sinking. What is faith? I don't own it. What is love but a constant struggle? What's the heart but the pounding? What are we when the tide is sinking? What is faith? I don't own it. No, I don't know it. I don't know. What is love but a constant rhythm? What's the state that I long for? What are we when the mountain's rising? What is hope? I don't know it. No, I don't know it. I don't know, no it. I don't know. Ooh, I don't know. What is love but a constant lesson? I am tired of learning. So I say it will all get better. But inside, I don't know it. No, I don't know it. I don't know. Oh, oh. What is love? What is love? Thanks. What is love? You know, the first time I saw that song title, I was like, there's this 90s song, you know, what is love? Baby, don't hurt me. And I was like, is this the same song? It wasn't. It was not the same song. All right, cool. Thanks for tuning in. If you're just tuning in right now, hello, I'm Fiora Music. Could be pronounced Fajora. There's a J in there, Fjora. The J is semi-silent. It actually bends, Fiora. You can call me Fajora if you want to. You can call me whatever you want, actually. Hey, you, a Canadian. This next one is another original. It's called With You, and it's about being in a toxic relationship and or atmosphere, not necessarily a romantic relationship, but just an environment, and having all of this negativity kind of consume you and surround you. And I think especially right now, there's a lot of negativity in the media, and it's being populated in a lot of places. It can get overwhelming. So it's important to try and extract yourself from the negativity and see the positive. That being said, in this song, this is a total bummer. There is no silver lining in this song. It is just negativity subsuming. But yeah, all right, thanks. Lost inside a pool of white I feel your face on my hand. There's nothing I can do. Gone into your arms of sand, the hourglass, your hand, keep dropping specks of glass, keeping track. I'm with you into the flight of fire, lose myself, pollute throughout my mind and body's truths by myself. And you look me in the eyes, I'll do it, sacrifice, give in to paradise. If you try, I'm done. There's only hit and run, but I'm the smoking gun. I hold it to someone I once knew, and I shoot, I'm with you into the blind and fire, lose myself, pollute throughout my mind and body's truths by myself. I'm with you. I'm with you. I'm with you. Oh, I'm with you, with you, with you. I'm with you. With you. I told you it was a bummer. I'm telling you, some of my songs, it gets pretty dramatic, very dramatic. If you're still with me, thank you. I am Fiora Music. This next song is called Count on Me, and it's another original. I actually wrote this one on Monday with Troy Snatters and Andrew Austin. And it's a song, it's basically when everything else, when all the garbaggio hits the fan, you can still count on me at the end of the day. And yeah, that's basically the gist of it. Thanks. Oh, I know life made its promises and then broke them. Words unspoken, the reasons in the dust. There were moments, oh, the chance of something real. Could almost feel the light under the sun. Oh, but the dogs have come out the dark has come to stay. I know you're feeling down at the end of the day. Forever broke its promise, and nothing's how it should be. When the world lets you down, you can count on me. When everything is falling, tearing piece by piece, and the world gets you down, you can count on me. Count on me. There were times you felt invisible, like a ghost, riding alone down some dark highway. But you know, I see all your moments of gold shimmering bright, and the light you went home, you're coming back home. Ooh. True, the dogs have come out, and the dark has come to stay. I know you're feeling down some of these days, when forever breaks its promise, and nothing's how it should be, and the world lets you down, you can count on me. When everything is falling, tearing piece by piece, and the world gets you down, you can count on me. Count on me. You can count on me. Count on me. Ooh, ooh, ooh. Thank you. All right, all right, all right. Hope everyone's hanging in. Yeah. I think, I feel very lucky that during these times, I come from a very close family. And so in a few songs, I'm going to have one of my sisters actually join in on the final two songs. And I think, appreciation of family and appreciation of loved ones in your life, family, friends, pets, adopting rescues, all of this, I have a really newfound sense of appreciation for. I will say, there's sometimes, everyone's up in everyone's grill. So separate rooms sometimes are a blessing as well. Anyway, this next one is an original. It's called Marilyn, and it's about a real person. Marilyn Manson. Yes, that's right. No. Although I should do that. Mental note. I should write a song about Marilyn Manson. That would be pretty dope. No, this is about Marilyn Monroe, and it's about how external perception is not often / usually never is the same as intrinsic internal perspective. Nothing is really ever as it seems. All right, thanks. Lonely at the top when it's all you got. Ooh, playing me every Playboy. Pin up, chin up, feeling so down. A trade for lost or found. All eyes on me as I fall. Bombs are dropping on the blonde bombshell. Oh well. Battles popping, gonna pop my way straight to hell. And you call me your baby, but ooh, I thought I was a woman. The truth, icons are dialects, but you let me float away. 200 mil, what a thrill to be young as you feel. Oh, the times go and they come. Oh, angels cry to the heavens true. Love me, leave me, isn't it all the same? You fuck me hard enough, won't feel any pain. Go, let me lay down in the golden mud. Bombs are dropping on the blonde bombshell. Oh well, battles popping, gonna pop my way straight to hell. See you there, and you call me a baby, but ooh, I thought I was a woman. The truth, icons are dialects, but you let me float away. Maryland, miracle Maryland. Maryland, unspeakable Maryland. Maryland, beautiful Maryland. Maryland, unkeepable Maryland. Thank you, thank you. All right. So I have got 2 songs left for you, and they're both cover songs. The first of which, it's by this artist, Sam Phillips, who I found through film and TV, through the show Gilmore Girls, actually. She's done a bunch. She's amazing. But she does, if you're familiar with Gilmore Girls, she does the la 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 las. And if you're not familiar, that probably sounded psychotic. So sorry about that. Anyway, this song is called Reflecting Light. Yes, it is. And this is my sister, Catherine, one of 2 sisters. That's right, there's 3 of us. Run for the hills.
Hello.
Hey, Catherine, how's it going?
Nothing, I was just in the area.
Yeah, just in the area. That makes sense. It checks out. And yeah, this song is called Reflecting Light. Catherine has been gracious enough to play guitar on it with us. Thank you. Yeah, I'll pay you in love and hugs. Yeah, there'll be this and then one more song afterwards. All right, cool. I think, yeah. So we can tilt this a little bit so she can be in the frame. She's so pretty. She's really quite a pretty girl.
I'm really pretty.
Yep, she's really pretty.
They keep telling me.
I know.
Okay.
You good? Maybe get a little closer to the mic there. Yeah, cool. Oh, maybe not. You can get a little closer if you want. There. Now that I've worn out the world, I'm on my knees in fascination, looking through the night, and the moon's never seen me before, but I'm reflecting light. I rolled the pain down, got off and looked up, looked into your eyes. The lost open windows all around me, a dark heart lit up the skies. Now that I've worn out I've worn out the world. It's okay. I'm on my knees in fascination, looking through the night. You can sit down if you want. And the moon's never seen me before, but I'm reflecting light. You can sing if you want. Give up the ground under your feet. Hold on to nothing for good. Turn and run at the mean dogs chasing you. Stand alone, misunderstood. And now that I've worn out the world, I'm on my knees in fascination, looking through the night. And the moon's never seen me before, but I'm reflecting light. One of the hazards of playing guitar very, very hard is string breakage. It happens sometimes, but
I went too hard.
she goes too hard all the time.
Excited.
But high five for jumping in on vocal harmonies there. She's a pro, if nothing else. So this last tune is another cover, and it's an original. I think originally it's an Oasis song. But yes, and we're doing a cover of it. There's this artist, Aurora, who we both love so much. She's amazing. And she does this beautiful rendition of it. So we're going to be covering that. It's called Half the World Away. And yeah, we love this song. I think it's applicable to the ongoing time right now. And yeah, I think it's just a beautiful song. And Catherine's going to be hopping on the harmonious with me, which is
No guitar now.
no guitar now. We're gonna burn that thing afterwards. Yes, yeah. So yeah. All right, cool. Thank you. I would like to leave this city. This old town don't smell too pretty, and I can feel the warning signs running around my mind. And when I leave this island, I'll book myself into a soul asylum, 'cause I can feel the warning signs running around my mind. So here I go, I'm still scratching around in the same old hole. My body feels young, but my mind is very old. So what do you say? You can't give me the dreams that are mine anyway. You're half the world away. You're half the world away. And when I leave this planet, you know I'd stay, but I just can't stand it. And I can feel the warning signs running around my mind. And if I can leave this spirit, I'll find me a home and I live in it. And I can feel the warning signs running around my mind. So here I go, I'm still scratching around in the same old hole. My body feels young, but my mind is very old. So what do you say? You can't give me the dreams that are mine anyway. You're half the world away. You're half the world away. You're half the world away. I've been lost, I've been found, but I don't feel down. You're half the world away. I've All right, cool. Well, thanks, Catherine. Go fix that guitar.
Yeah, sorry about that.
No, we honestly, Catherine deserves mad respect. This was
Yeah.
very last minute, so
Sorry.
please
Support
leave.
you and
Please
love you.
leave right now.
Support you. Goodbye.
Bye,
Thank you.
Catherine. Yeah,
Yeah.
see ya. See you
Yeah,
later.
later.
See ya for dinner. See you for dinner.
Last night.
Nice fettuccine. Yeah. So yeah, that closes the acoustic portion of my set, and yeah, I hope that helped. Pass some time for you. As I said before, it's a great cause that we are here is doing this live on the air series. So thank you again for having me. I'm really happy now to transition over to some chats with the artist duo and their sisters as well, Extraordinaire Neoni, Neoni, who I think have emulated use of the internet and social media platforms super well in propelling their career forward. And I think, especially right now with the ongoing pandemic, we're all in lockdown. We could learn a thing or two from them. So, Neoni, if Caitlin and Sydney, if you guys wanna meander onto the room, we can chat.
Hi! Hey!
Hello.
That set
Okay.
was so good.
Literal
That
fire.
was so beautiful.
Wow, thank
Like,
you,
oh.
guys. Well, good. I'll give you that $20 later. I'll send you.
Dude, you're amazing.
Also, just saying the sibling harmonies just like warms my
Yes.
soul.
that
like
you guys sound so good together.
beautiful.
Thanks, guys.
Oh,
Yeah, you know
it's
what?
so
Well,
beautiful.
I mean, obviously, it takes two to know the beauty of family harmony. Right?
Yeah. Yeah.
This is what you guys
And
do.
being with your family during quarantine.
Yes.
Like,
Yeah.
you're on the same level with you.
Although unfortunately we will not be having fettuccine
No,
tonight, so
none of us can
missing
cook.
out on that portion.
So, like,
Well,
it's been like
yeah.
we have like saltine crackers with like some cheese, and like that's been like the last like 3 weeks.
Guys, that's not so bad. That's all right. I mean, yeah, I'm not gonna lie. I am kind of excited for the fettuccine action.
Yeah.
Yeah, stay tuned. Maybe I'll send a photo or two. I
I'm
don't
the
want to
jealousy.
make you completely jealous. Yeah.
Yeah, the jealousy's already so high,
I'm there in spirit
Yeah.
eating fettuccine with you
Yeah.
guys.
but
It's
definitely
it's
6
a
feet
weird
apart.
time because I mean, you guys obviously love each other. It goes without saying. You guys work together too, right? So I think that's an interesting dynamic. Catherine and I, and then we have a third sister, Stephanie, who we keep in a closet. No, she's totally great. She's actually doing an online exam right now. So yeah, but we actually were in a band together for a handful of years. So we sang together kind of on the reg. But I mean, it's an interesting dynamic. Everyone has their own take on it, but we would, go from 1 minute of like just hangs, just like hanging out, whatever, to rehearsal mode, right?
Mhm.
Yep.
And like, okay, we're pumping into gear now. Like, let's do this thing. So I mean, all good times for the most part.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Yeah, but I mean, you guys do this all the time. This is your
Yeah.
career. So how do you guys find that, like being family and working together creatively?
It's definitely a challenge. So
Yeah.
we've been close our whole lives when we started playing music together. So when we got really, really close, because I mean you have to, you spend all day together. But definitely there's that line between just being like having like hanging out and being sisters and stuff and working.
Yeah.
Because like the other day we were trying to like write a song, we were doing a top line, and we found both of ourselves just like laying on the floor with our cat and just like playing with the cat. And I was like, we really need to be working.
like in
But-
like in a session in person, like we would never do that, but
No.
because we're related.
Because it's
We were
just
like-
the two of us, especially since we're in quarantine, so we're just writing the two of us right now, other than like Skype writes and stuff like that. But like
Yeah.
sometimes it's hard to stay focused because you're like, oh, I know you so well, I'm just gonna lay on the floor. Which is like, we would never ever do that.
And in
Right.
the opposite sense, you're chilling out after like a long day of like, writing and working and all that kind of stuff, and you're playing video games. And then one of you has an
Yeah.
idea for a song,
Yeah.
and because you live together, it's like
You're
completely
like,
reasonable
"Let's
to be
go."
like, yo, I know you're in the middle of a game.
But like,
But-
turn it off. Let's go.
Absolutely.
Time.
Oh
Yeah.
my
So
God.
it's
You
an
know what?
interesting dynamic.
It is. I feel like, at least in my own experiences, because I don't want to speak on the behalf of Stephanie and Catherine, but we would, it's just interesting, like resolving things. So like if we were in a rehearsal setting and then we had like 2 more songs to go, usually I think in a band setting, there's like the band leader or there's somebody who's like, making sure structure is like implemented throughout.
Yeah.
Implemented throughout. Yeah. Did you like that though? That was super intelligent sounding,
It
right?
was
It's super official.
It
It
was
sounded
so official.
very official.
It did.
Yeah, you're welcome, guys. Thank you, though. I appreciate it. Thank God. We would like have like 2 songs left or something like that. And even now, honestly, if it's just me when I'm rehearsing, who's to say that I don't cut out early and just go get my dinner? Go get something a little earlier, right? So
Literally, yes.
I think it's funny, that dynamic, but I mean, regardless, I think it's a beautiful thing. I mean, we're very close. I'm from a very close family, and clearly you guys are too.
Yeah, we are.
Yes.
Very
Nice.
close.
Wait,
all
hold
the
on,
time.
Screenshot this. Oh, the
This would be the
It'll
only time you
never
might actually
happen
see us
again.
get along.
Never
Oh my
happened
God.
again.
Yeah.
Yeah,
but,
we grew
I
up
mean,
sharing a room, so like really
Dude.
close.
Dude, I feel you. So I mean, how have you guys been finding this whole? I mean, we were talking about this a little bit earlier, off Zoom. But like this whole pandemic situation, the fact that we're even using terminology like pandemic, it's surreal.
It's insane.
And lockdown mode, it's across the world. How are you guys finding it as creatives and otherwise?
Yeah, it's just a really surreal, like, I don't think anyone saw this coming. Like,
No.
Last
if you
year,
were-
like, I was planning my year, I wasn't gonna, like, plan in, like, oh, you're my, like, 2-month quarantine for a pandemic. Like, that was never in my mind.
Yeah,
So,
like at New Year's, I was like, "Yeah, man, 2020 is my year.
yeah, we're
Let's
gonna
go."
do things.
Then 2020 punched me in the neck.
Yeah. I think from a
Nowhere.
creative level, the missing the human connection of like writes and stuff, because we were doing a lot of our writes online and through top lining, that kind of impacts creativity somewhat, because you really miss like the connection to other humans, and when you're writing a song, that's really important.
Yeah.
But yeah,
At the same time, though, there's like zero distraction now. Like there is,
Yeah.
like I'm just like 1,000% focused because like it's outside of like staring at the wall. Like it's what you have to do, and so
I've already watched all the Netflix shows.
productivity has gone up. My to do
It
list
has.
is getting worked
It's
out.
getting shorter, but there's a lot that just I didn't see coming. There's a lot I miss. But
Yeah. No, I totally feel that. I agree completely. It's funny because like I'm an ambivert, so extroverted introvert. So I love the social things in life, but I recharge alone. Otherwise it gets super like grumpy cat, like not really that ideal to be
Yeah.
around, probably.
yeah, I feel you.
I feel that.
So I've heard. So what's interesting is like this time I love sometimes I'm just by myself anyway when I'm producing out something or writing, what have you, whatever. But it's funny because this has actually brought to light how much I do appreciate and enjoy the social aspects of
Yeah.
everything, like professionally and personally. Like I just turns out I actually like sessions with people. Who knew?
Yeah.
Who
Other
knew?
humans. Who knew? Like who knew I would even miss
Human
this?
beings, social things. I mean, it's strange because obviously, for safety and health, we're adapting as we should be. Staying
Yeah.
indoors and going for walks maybe, but the 6 feet distancing and all of that. I actually saw this really hilarious TikTok video going for a walk in Canada during COVID-19. It's like true footage. Like it's literally this girl walking and she's like, okay, here I go. She's going outside and every person she passes is like, hello, hey, hi, howdy, hey, how are you? And it's like literally half an hour. I mean, she trimmed it, but it's like just Canadians being Canadian.
That's
I love
amazing.
Canadians so much. Yeah, but I mean, I'm biased, of course, but
No, I need to come visit Canada.
Yeah.
I need to experience this like
This
yeah, guys, come,
camaraderie.
please. We've had this conversation. Come.
Yeah, I know. I feel it.
COVID-19, it messed up my
COVID-19.
plans.
That's
We're
the
all
problem.
traveling. So
I know.
No, dude, I know. Well, with the borders and everything, dang, it's weird. It's weird times, but
it's
yeah,
weird.
the social stuff. Turns out I actually like it.
Yeah,
Who knew?
who knew?
Surprise.
Yeah, I
I
miss
know.
humans.
I mean, I think for me, I've just been spending weirdly enough, I've been very busy. Like I feel for a lot of people where they're like, oh my God, like because this has negated their ability to go
Yeah.
into a workplace environment. That totally blows. And I'm fortunate enough that like I've got a home studio set up and I've been working still continually through it. And
Yeah.
I mean, I think you guys have been, you know, probably hustling all the same, right? Like from your
Yeah.
own space, right? Like
From our perspective, we've been doing a lot of like top lining with people over like the last few months, where
You know-
like someone will send you a track from like all over the world, and then
Which
you
is,
like
like,
write to it.
The coolest experience.
So that hasn't slowed down for us, but we do have a lot of friends that make like their
You know,
whole
like, touring
career
bands
is like
and-
touring and DJing and stuff like that, and that's just been so impacted that having to watch them go through that is really hard. And
Yeah.
like a stream like this, and it's for such a great cause. Yeah, it's just hard watching, but
Yeah, you know, like
you've been working with people
as
all
artists,
over the world.
you know, I'm realizing how little I go out now that I'm
Yeah.
like, oh, wow. Like, honestly, it's not that much different. It's just that I can't now.
Yeah, I can't now, and
It's
that
made me
feels
feel
harder.
like maybe when this is over, maybe I should
to
like
get out more.
venture outside every once in a while. But
Like a
yeah, you
reminder.
know, it's we're luckily like, you know, staying
Mhm.
busy, and it's great.
The cool part about it is a lot of the people we work with are international, and we
Mm-hmm.
get to like ask them questions about like how is it where
You know,
you
in
are,
their
yeah.
country.
and so we get to get like these different perspectives from all over the world, and that's a really cool like thing that I
Yeah.
didn't necessarily know would happen, but it's very
Yeah.
interesting.
That's awesome. No, that is really cool. I mean, I think hopefully, because it sounds like you guys are utilizing, I mean, obviously you guys have used multiple social media platforms and streaming platforms in,
Mhm.
you know, building the foundation of your career. And I think, you know, clearly you guys have already been making great use of these tools at our disposal. And what's awesome, I mean, I don't have to tell you guys, it's like YouTube, it's like, use it like it's a free device, right? Like
Yeah, it's great. Like, you know, anybody in the whole world can create something they're proud of and like put it
Yeah.
online. There's nobody to tell you that you can't share
Yeah.
your art or, you know, your
And there's
vision.
so many ways to collaborate with other artists, whether it's like visual artists or something, through YouTube and social platforms like that. Like it's so fun. And like we met through Instagram.
Yeah, we did.
Yeah. So like I love that
The
aspect
way the
of
internet brings the whole world
Mhm.
together. Like there's nothing keeping people apart. Like as long as you can communicate, you know, Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, YouTube.
collaborating with
create.
as many different people as you can, especially in a time like this where I think we're all looking to connect because we're so disconnected with social distancing. That is so necessary. But like we have the internet, we have Zoom, we have like all these different platforms where we still can connect and collaborate with people
Yeah.
on a level that may not be as personal, but it's still just a great opportunity.
And absolutely, I think it's really significant right now to be able to make use of any of the things at our disposal to enable us to continue that interactive, like focal part of creation. Because I think a lot of the time, I make jokes. I'll make a lot of jokes about being a hermit, but
Yeah.
yeah, woo. Oh yeah, I usually have the messy bun, the glasses, you know. Yeah.
Oh, I
Yeah,
feel that.
I feel that so much.
Yeah, and I think, I mean, as amazing as it is to be alone and, you know, recharging alone and working alone, great things. However, it is a newfound appreciation bringing to light of, man, it's more than just people bringing their ideas to the table, which is great, but it's also just a smile and being able
Yeah.
to like laugh together and
Yeah.
just share joy together in creation, in that actual process itself. And I think, you know, hopefully this whole thing resolves itself sooner than later. I know that nurses and doctors are working tirelessly around the clock. So super grateful to them for that. But
Yeah,
hopefully we
super
reach
grateful.
some point where we get to, you know, venture out outside once more.
Yes.
Yeah, right.
Oh, how are things in Canada? Like, you know, I know how things are in Tennessee,
Yeah.
but we don't.
Yeah, you know what? I can't complain too much. I think our numbers today, I checked this online, I think it's called Coronavirus Worldometer. I don't know if y'all have heard of it, but it just shows stats. It's just like the numbers per country and what have you. According to that today, I think Canada sits at around just under 20K
Okay.
cases. which any number I think is alarming.
Yeah.
And if anyone's health is being jeopardized at all, that's really a bad thing.
Yeah.
But that being said, I think comparatively to other countries, because Canada's population is like 37 million people,
Yeah.
it's still, it could be a lot worse.
Mhm.
So I'm very grateful for that. And I think about I want to say 3 to 4 weeks ago, probably 4 weeks ago, we really started. Sorry, I just spoke on behalf of all Canadians. That was we have all done this. Well, like people that I know here started. Oh, sorry about that. Started like locking themselves down per se. So yeah, we're just continuing to do that. It's hard though, but it's okay. Honestly, I'm very lucky. My own situation. I get to see my family. I get to have internet and still
Yeah.
connect with people. I still get to be creative. So yeah, Canada's on behalf of all of Canada, we're okay. Actually, sorry, I'm really curious to what you guys' take on the state's situation is right now. But really super quick, because it's happened just recently. Yesterday, our Prime Minister Justin Trudeau, God love him, he had this colossal slip up, like when he was speaking. It was so bad. Like they've already created, those like songs on YouTube where they like,
Oh, yes.
correct. Man, oh man, he said, basically, he was talking and he was like, yeah, so masks, they're super important, because sometimes people speak moistly. And he's like, oh, that's a terrible image. And I feel so bad because this has gone viral now in Canada, at least, and it'll probably show up in talk shows and stuff like.
Oh, definitely.
Oh my God. I just feel it's funny though. You should check it out. Check it out when you.
We're gonna have to check it out.
There's got to be at least 100,000 TikToks about it now.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, no, I'm telling you. And his eyes, you just knew he knew. Like they shifted.
Like,
it was just
no, this did not happen. No.
God love him. He's growing a beard now. He looks great. He's doing
Rocking it.
Good things, Justin. Yeah. Anyway, yeah, but I mean, yeah, no, COVID-19, very horrible. Canada, I think we're doing as much as we should be doing, which is great. How are you guys finding it?
I think our situation, we are lucky, as like you said, we have family and we have the creative side. So like us personally, we've been holed up probably for 3 weeks, 3.5 weeks. So going a little stir crazy, but it's all for like it's like a good stir crazy, safe stir crazy. I think that
there's a lot of fear going on, and I hate seeing it. I mean, obviously things are scary.
Yeah.
But to see people feeling that fear and to feel that fear yourself, like it's an awful situation that, I mean, none of us saw coming. And I think the U.S. is struggling, and I think we're getting through it. I think things are getting better.
Things will get better. I think that's just important for us all to like continue staying
and just remember that we're all in this together, and that
feel free to like reach out.
I think we got like 4,000 cases in Tennessee, something like that.
Something crazy.
Yeah.
Which is
it's a lot of people though, and I heard, because I've been following the news and such, like New York is a big hotspot, right? I lived in New York a couple years ago, so I'm like totally, I love New York City. I just think it's a lot of people, all in close proximity. It's the same here. I mean, our numbers are nowhere. I don't want to be, comparing two different things, but I mean, on a smaller scale, Toronto, we've got like percentage-wise a lot more in all of Canada. A lot of people all together, right? So, yeah,
we definitely have some friends in New York
that you just check on, and you see what everybody's doing. Same in California, just being like, hey, I know, because again, LA is it's one of those cities you go to, and there's always something going on, and to see I watched a video the other day of like skateboarders in LA, like literally skateboarding down the freeway
because there was no one,
nobody's out,
eerie,
it's deserted, and it's definitely eerie. You're like, oh my God, this is like The Walking Dead, but it's like real life.
I mean, I think that throughout all these times, and we'll wrap up in like, I guess, 3 minutes. Sorry, guys. Good, we're all such chatterboxes. I think I think it's very encouraging to hear that, from the States to Canada, creatives are still creating.
Yeah.
And I think in these times, people turn to creatives, listening to music, looking at art, watching movies. I know I've been Netflix and chilling a lot more than I probably should be.
Yeah.
Netflix is saving us.
Yeah.
Netflix, man.
But we've got a single coming out actually May 1st, which
Yes.
I'm so jazzed for, guys. I'm super pumped.
Yeah.
It's called Soldiers, and we created it with the amazing David Spencer.
Yes. Who we
Shout out.
also met over the internet.
Yeah.
Yeah. We met him over the internet.
I didn't know that actually. That's awesome.
Yeah, we met him over Twitter.
Twitter.
Yeah.
Okay.
We were still
All
living in Denver.
right. Yeah, there
Yeah.
it is. Example.
Yeah.
Use the internet.
Yeah, I think actually the song itself weirdly applies to the current time right now too. How
Yeah.
soldiers, we will march on together throughout,
Yeah.
like whatever comes our way.
Yeah.
So yeah, I'm really, really pumped on that, guys. I really
Yeah,
appreciate
Love
you
the
guys.
song. Can't wait.
In general, I appreciate you. I'm grateful for you.
We're
thank you
so
for
grateful
hopping
for you.
on
You're-
today. Thank
Yeah,
you.
we're grateful for you, man. For you slated today. We love working with you.
Yeah.
You make
You're
those-
such an
Okay,
incredible artist.
all right.
Like you're inspiring
Whatever.
to watch because you're so amazing. You're so positive.
Not to mention
we-
slaying in the sync world.
Yeah.
Like, just absolutely crushing it.
Guys, thank you. That means a lot. Thanks very much. I appreciate it. Well, from my home to yours, I appreciate today, and I hope that you guys continue being safe and healthy, and that
Yes.
applies to everyone else who's watching right now. I hope that you're staying safe out there, but also don't let the fear consume either. Right? Let's
Yeah.
try and be positive.
Stay
Yeah.
positive. Stay together.
Cautiously positive. Stay in your homes as much as you
And
can.
emotionally stay connected to everyone while
Yeah.
standing 6 feet apart.
I like that.
Zoom someone or FaceTime someone. It really helps.
It does.
Yeah, absolutely. And remember, don't speak moistly.
Yeah.
No moist.
No
speaking.
moist-
Coach Justin
speaking.
Trudeau.
Yeah.
It's so good. Check it out. I'm telling you, when we hang up, check it out.
Okay,
Okay,
and we're
I'm
going
really
to
gonna go
we're
check
gonna
it out
check it out.
as
My
soon as
heart
it's
goes out to him.
Yeah,
Because
public speaking is hard.
Yeah.
And you know you
You
met.
know he knew the second.
He's like, this is gonna be on YouTube.
Yeah.
It is. It's on YouTube. All right. Well, I guess I can wrap this up. I think I'm in full control right now. Am I in full control right now? I don't know. Yeah. Well, thanks guys.
Thanks for
I'm
having
glad
us.
I'm glad to have done this, and we'll be texting. I'll send you the video.
Yes, send me the video.
Please do. Thanks for having us.
All right. Thanks. All right.
To the whole mix on the stereo bus. We're going to try this guy over here, which is the infamous SSL stereo bus compressor. It has a design that is called VCA feed forward. It gives you a certain level of control over the attack and release on the compressor. Let me show you what I'm talking about here. Let's start with it off. Okay, now we're just going through it, but it's not really working. Here, you're seeing just like maybe two or three dB of gain reduction on the kick and snare there. Let's do a little makeup for it. Hi, my name is Ken Andrews, and I'm a recording artist most known for my work in the band Failure, but I'm also a producer and mixer who has worked in the music industry for 30 years with artists like Beck, Paramore, Nine Inch Nails, and M83. I recently started a YouTube channel focusing on recording and mixing techniques, and I've decided to donate a few of those episodes to the Music Cares charity during this COVID-19 crisis. If you like what you see, you can head over to my channel for more content. Thank you. Please stay safe and at home, and I hope you enjoy these videos. Have you ever struggled with getting big guitars to sound big in your mix without completely obliterating the other elements? My name's Ken Andrews, and welcome to episode 4. Okay, wow, where do I start? So much has happened since my last episode. First, let me explain that while my intent is to post episodes as frequently as possible, my on-the-ground reality with various work commitments, family responsibilities, sometimes creates a perfect storm of elements that simply do not allow me to get everything done that I want to get done. As many of you are probably aware, I posted about the Pledge Music scandal on social media a few weeks ago, and I do want to take a second and just thank everyone for the massive outpouring of support I've received from you. It's absolutely vital for this story to continue to be told, and the fact that so many of you went out of your way to show your support by sharing the articles I wrote and also sharing your own stories of being victimized by this fraud. And, you know, that's exactly what needs to happen and continue, so I really thank you for that. But I also want to say that I would like this channel and the associated communication we have together here to stay focused on the creativity of music and to keep the discussion of Pledge Music and other music business topics on the other social platforms. I just think in the long run it will be better if we keep this channel as a safe space for discussions about music, technology, creativity, and I just hope you guys are good with that. So what's on the menu for this episode? Well, if you're a fan of the band Jimmy Eat World, then you're in for a bit of a treat. As you may or may not know, Jimmy Eat World tapped me to mix their latest album, Surviving, which the band recently released and are currently on tour promoting. I knew the band had enjoyed working with me on their previous album, Integrity Blues, so I actively lobbied them for a chance to mix this album, and I was super stoked when they said yes. A little history, I've actually known the guys in Jimmy Eat World for quite a while. I think it was in 2001 when DreamWorks approached me about producing/collaborating with them on a Christmas song for a KROQ Christmas album, which is a radio station here in LA. Jim, the singer, had already selected the Christmas song he wanted to cover, George Michael's Last Christmas. It was a super fun session. I picked up very quickly on Jim's abilities on guitars. He just made everything look so easy. But back to their current album. This one, like the previous, was produced or co-produced, I believe, by my longtime friend and colleague, Justin Meldal Johnson. You know, between Jim and Justin, there's literally like no shortage of music know-how and general studio chops. They're both seriously talented musicians who also happen to have made a lot of albums, several of which are considered to be seminal works as producers and artists as well. As a mixer, though, can sometimes be a bit of a blessing and a curse to work for such experienced and exacting clients. I mean, on the one hand, the material is always going to have a higher baseline of quality. They don't mess around. If there are any doubts about a song, it just gets replaced. The other huge plus is that the individual tracks are so well conceived and executed from a sonic point of view that getting a mix that sounds decent generally comes together very quickly. You know, they've made a lot of records and they just kind of instinctively know when something is done or if something needs to be redone before it gets sent off for mixing. The flip side, of course, is that with such discerning ears, the expectations for mixes can be high. not unreasonably high, but with these guys, their abilities to hear and identify details that bug them, it can get very cute sometimes. But basically, mixing for Jimmy Eat World and Justin feels like what it would be like to mix for someone like myself. It's challenging, but it's a challenge I welcome and enjoy. So the song I've chosen to demo here is titled, wait for it, Failure. It's actually no relation to my band's name, but I actually just really dig this song. And interestingly, it was the only mix on the album that got approved on Mix 1. That doesn't happen all that often, as there's inevitably some element that I maybe had a different idea for that doesn't sit right with the band. That's totally normal and common. But when you do get a thumbs up on your first go at it, it's kind of a great feeling, because part of being a good mixer and also a good producer is really fully immersing yourself in the ethos of the band, really drilling down into what their preferences are and what excites them. So getting a thumbs up on a Mix 1 is a sort of a recognition that you get it. But the main reason I picked this song is because it showcases an aspect of rock band mixing that can be really challenging, and that is, how do I make guitars sound loud and powerful without drowning out all the other instruments? This is a classic conundrum that primarily exists because big, distorted, chunky rhythm guitars, which I personally love, tend to take up a huge amount of sonic real estate, precisely because of their thick and sprawling frequency coverage. With big guitars, you can be looking at everything from 30, 40 hertz all the way up to 10, 12K at high energy levels. And it's not just the expansive frequency range, but also the density and the masking properties that thick, distorted guitars have. By masking, I mean one sound's ability to cover up or mask another. So big guitars have a very powerful masking trait that can be difficult to navigate when balancing with other instruments, which in this case are the classic drums, bass guitar, and vocals. All right, so let's go ahead and dive into the details on this mix. Okay, so what we're hearing right now is a basic drum mix. I've done some EQing of the individual mics with one of my favorite SSL channel strips by Wave. It's the SSL G channel. Really like this for drums. Sometimes I use different ones, but for this song I chose this. It's a decent drum mix. You can hear everything. The kick and snare sound punchy. I can even hear the ambience of the room. Here's the stereo room. Sounds pretty good. Let's roll in the bass. Bass sounds good. I've already done some work on the bass, but now that I'm hearing it against the drums, I wouldn't mind hearing just a little bit more pick. Just want just a tiny bit more edge. Then I'm going to also add LA2A compressor, just to bring it even more up front. I know once the big guitars are going to come in, all this aggression that we're hearing right now on the bass is going to seem muted. So let's roll in the guitars this time. This is the whole bus of guitars. Okay, so now the guitars sound heavy, present, dominant. They're big and they sound great. But now, what happened to the drums? All that ambience around the drums is kind of gone now. Okay, so how do we combat that? How do we bring the drums up to a power level that is commensurate with the guitars? First thing, let's add some more reverb to the drums. Let's exaggerate the ambience on the drums. Here's the snare drum with now I've added a gated reverb here. Convolution a sample of an AMS RMX 16, which is actually a vintage hardware unit. And we'll add a little drum room, courtesy of Ocean Way, which we've talked about in previous episodes. Also add those two things to the snare bottom. Maybe a little bit of room on the hat as well. The ambience on the drums is more exaggerated now. I could just quickly mute both those things. No added ambience, just what was recorded. And a tiny bit more of what amounts to, like, you know, reverb on the drums. Very short reverb though. So it sounds more like a room. Okay, so that's sounding right. Put the guitars back in. That's sounding better now because I can feel the power of the drums more, especially on the snare drum with the added ambience. But still feel like the drums just aren't, I feel a little soft. But I don't just want to raise the level of, like, the individual mics. I want the drums to compete more with the guitars. I want them to compete for attention. So there's another trick you could do where instead of really treating the instruments separately, like doing what we just did to the drums, we're going to add a compressor to the whole mix on the stereo bus. We're going to try this guy over here, which is the infamous SSL stereo bus compressor. It has a design that is called VCA feed forward. It gives you a certain level of control over the attack and release on the compressor. Let me show you what I'm talking about here. Let's start with it off. Okay, now we're just going through it, but it's not really working. Okay, you're seeing just like maybe two or three dB of gain reduction on the kick and snare there. Let's do a little makeup for it. About the same volume, but the guitars appear louder, and yet the drum, at least the attack of the drum, is more pronounced. That's happening because this compressor has been set up to have a slow attack, a 10 millisecond attack. And what's happening there is that the initial attack of the drum is actually getting through unscathed. Then when the full energy of the drum hit is detected by the compressor, that's when the limiting takes place. This needle moves to the right, and the actual volume of the sound is either kept the same or is pushed down a bit. But the perception is that the kick drum sort of stays on top of the mix during that dip in volume. And so you get this nice kind of punchy kick hit, which in turn actually pushes the guitars and other instruments down a couple dB for this split second. It sort of makes room for itself. It sort of pushes everyone down and says, no, I want to be heard for this split second. And then when the hit is over and the compressor recovers, all the other elements pop back up to their power volumes. I just want a little bit overall more punch on the drums still. This is a multi-band limiter that you would use on the whole mix. It's pretty aggressive. Also, when you're actually pulling the threshold down, this is a level maximizing plugin. So as you pull the threshold down, the output goes up. So I've already kind of compensated for that a little bit. And I'm also giving the high mid band a tiny bit of a boost to just bring out the attack of the snare a little bit more. So let's hear what this does without the guitars in, just so you can feel that. The effect is overall that the punch of the drum is coming up, but also the ambience is really coming up. Because I want the drums to really cut through those guitars, but also let the guitars be dominant. So it's a balancing act. So let's put the guitars in now and see where we are. To me, now it feels like everyone's really chugging along here. Everyone feels loud and proud. That's the beauty of rock, right? The volume and the power. So let's hear it with the vocals in, just to give you the total picture.
Should've gone differently, is what I often say. Looking at myself above the bathroom sink.
So I hope that it can help you maybe with getting drums and guitars to really compete and fight for dominance. I know I'm going to be making a lot more videos in 2020, so don't forget to like and subscribe to this channel. I will see you next time. Later. Okay, so if you follow my band Failure on social media, you may have seen recently that we announced a vinyl box set of our first 3 albums. We are calling it Failure 1992 through 1996 because that was the time frame that these albums were originally released, and we weren't feeling especially creative when we titled it. The reason we are doing this now is because we finally got access to the original tapes, which for me has been a pretty incredible thing to go back and really hear what we did musically back then as a band, but also on Fantastic Planet, what I got to do on my first project as the recording and mixing engineer. My name is Ken Andrews, and welcome to episode 5, The Failure Tapes. Okay, quick answer to the question about the music in my intro. That is actually an instrumental mix of a Failure song called Distorted Fields from our most recent album. Check the links in the description for how to get your hands on that if you like. So ever since we took the production and mixing reins on our third album, Fantastic Planet, in 1995, I have personally really wanted to go back and remix the first 2 albums, Comfort and Magnified, to bring them more sonically into line with Fantastic Planet and also our 2 newest albums. Now, I realize for some people that might be kind of a questionable thing to do, but I think it makes sense for Failure because recording and mixing our own stuff has become part of the ethos of the band. Another reason we wanted to do this has been the disappointment with the reissues of the first 2 albums, which have not been up to our standards for quality. As an artist, it's kind of difficult to let inferior versions of your work let sit out there in the wild, so this was also an opportunity to kind of set the record straight for us as well. So what does the process of restoring these albums actually entail? Well, the first thing that has to be done is transferring all the original tapes to digital. It's simply not a good idea to play the analog tapes any more than required to transfer them, as they are pretty old now, and each play can potentially result in oxide shedding off the tapes. So here's some footage I grabbed of the transfer process that we did at LAFX. This is Bill Smith, the transfer engineer. Comfort and Magnified were recorded to 2-inch analog 24-track, so we used a good old Studer deck to transfer everything into Pro Tools at 24-bit 96K. While we don't have plans to remix Fantastic Planet, I did want to take the opportunity to get the multi-tracks transferred off the original ADAT tapes. ADAT was an early digital format that was coming online right around 94, 95 when we were planning the recording of Fantastic Planet. It was a bit of a breakthrough at the time because it was the first time where a decent sounding 24-track recorder cost under $10,000. The ADAT machines were modular, as in each one handled 8 tracks and you could sync multiple units together. We ended up owning 5 ADAT machines because 2 were always in the shop for repairs. Nonetheless, I actually think they sounded pretty darn good for the time, despite being fixed at 16-bit 48K. I believe we had about 8 channels of high-quality external mic amps, a couple decent compressors, and 1 Eventide H3000 for effects. All monitoring and rough mixes were done through a Mackie 32x8 mixer, with the idea being that we would go to a proper mix studio in town when we were ready to mix. We did make quite a few rough mixes of everything before we were ready to call it done. We ended up in a studio in Silver Lake called Mad Hatter. I believe we mixed about 5 or 6 songs there, but then we started to question if we were really getting what we wanted there and took a break. What happened is we ended up listening to some roughs I had done before we moved to Mad Hatter on the Mackie 32x8, and they had some kind of mojo that we just didn't feel we were getting on the Neve. I know that seems counterintuitive. The Neve probably cost $300,000 and the Mackie cost $3,000. But I think what was really happening is that when I was mixing the roughs, I was being really bold and decisive because I knew they wouldn't be used. So we decided to move back to our project studio rental house and try and mix it there. So we rented 4 1176s, 4 DBX 160s, an SSL bus compressor, and a Studer half-inch machine. Still much cheaper than the day rate for a proper mix room. But now the pressure was on me. I really needed something to click, and fortunately it did. There was just something about the familiarity and small footprint of that board that allowed me to really just have fun and get into it. Then at the very end of mix selection, Greg suggested we do a final listen back to the Mad Hatter mixes for a comparison. And lo and behold, we actually ended up preferring 4 of the Mad Hatter mixes: Saturday Savior, Pillowhead, Another Space Song, and The Nurse Who Loved Me. And so those were used on the album, with everything else being mixed at what we had begun to call Fantastic Planet Studios by then. So today I thought I would just pull up one multi-track session from Fantastic Planet and let you see exactly how we made it using the technology of 1995. I've selected the song Heliotropic because I know there are many people who are interested in the production for that song, especially the distorted bass sound. So what I'd like to do for you is just take the raw session and just do a very quick down and dirty mix using just one channel strip plugin on each channel. I think this will give you a nice look at each individual track and maybe give you some basic ideas for how to get a rough mix together quickly. All right, let's dive in. Here's the session. All I've really done is named the tracks. I've gone ahead and already instantiated the Waves SSL G channel strip on all the channels. I still kind of gravitate towards the channel strip workflow where you can just quickly shape a sound into something usable really fast. And I especially like the G channel on drums because of its expander and gate section here. So let's see, we've got the first track here is kick drum. Not exactly a huge sounding kick drum. There's a lot of other drum tracks to come, so let's just quickly get this into shape. One thing I love about this channel strip is it's already has this low mid 500 selected with a fairly sharp Q, and on kick drums, generally, if you cut out some of that, when you have kind of a thinner sounding drum, maybe just add a little bit of low, little 50, 60. Well, let's see what we can do with the gate, or it's actually set to expansion right now. When this isn't lit, it's expanding. So let's just crank the range up, turn the attack up to quick, set the release, somewhere around there, 90, 100, and then see how much of the snare we can get rid of here without affecting the attack of the kick too much. Let's turn this up until it's kind of adversely affecting the attack of the kick drum there. Now it's coming back. Compress our kick drum just a little bit here. Usually what I do is just crank the threshold all the way up and slowly roll in the ratio until I see it working just a little bit. I don't want to over compress the kick at this stage. All right, so there's our track. And now that's what we have. There's our kick. Let's see what's happening with the snare. Now I have a preset that I've made that just has like a basic expansion and compression setting. I just call it drum start. And right off the bat, it's doing pretty much what I want in terms of compression and expansion. And maybe just a little bit more compression. So we got rack tom here. What's happening with the rack tom? Actually, the isolation is really good. That's actually not bad at all. Let's put our drum start, see what happens. Slow the release down a little bit. That's a nice chunky tom sound. I like that. I'm going to pan it over to the left a little bit. Maybe knock out some 500. Not too much. And maybe knock out a little bit of low end. Let's hear it again. Maybe compress it a little harder. The attack coming out there. Not bad. I'm just going to copy that plugin setting and paste it down to the floor tom. Just as a place to start. But let's see how that rack tom is balancing against the... Now we've got floor tom. Also not a bad sound. Not as hard hit. So I'm going to just bring the whole clip up a little bit. Make sure those hits crack the gate every time. Now, what I would actually do at this point, if I was not going for a quick mix, is I would probably go in here, at least on this floor tom track, and actually edit out everything except the hits, rather than trying to find a gate setting that is probably going to be a compromise between cutting out noise and losing a bit of attack on the tom hit. But for now, I'm just going to go with the gated sound and kind of live with that. Okay, let's just listen to that all together. We've got close kick, snare, and toms. Let's look at ride cymbal. This is all hi-hat, and then here it comes. Maybe. Yeah, there's the ride cymbal. So we're going to pan it off to where the ride would be. Maybe over here. Kind of like the ride sound because it's not too bright. I'm going to just roll off a little bit of low end. Listen to it down here. Might take out some 500. I'll replace it with these other tracks. And let's check out the hi-hat. Panning it off a little bit. Quite a bit of toms on there, but we'll just leave that. And keep in mind, this is just the close mics. I'm just getting like a real basic balance here. Now, so the ride is on the wrong side here. Again, we were into audience perspective back then, but we're going to change that today. The drummer's perspective with the ride on the right side. And then we've got basically we'll be using this overhead track for crashes because they're the loudest thing in there, right? Cymbals are going to be in the stereo room mics, which is coming up next, so we're going to be getting a lot of cymbal from those as well. And let's reverse those. That's the natural drum sound that we recorded, but we wanted a very affected, sort of hyper distorted drum sound for this. So there's these two other tracks here called Distorted Drum Mix and Drum Kit Effects. It's very distorted. It's a little hard to tell if it was sourced from a drum machine or from this drum kit. It's not sure, but there's definitely a machine hi-hat here on the right. And that tom sounds real to me, and it looks like, yeah, that tom is real, and it is sourced from the real rack tom track, because look at these waveforms. They actually totally match up. So weird. Okay, so it's basically some sort of combination of drum machine and live kit mixed together into this drum distorted mix. And I'm blending it in now with our natural kit mix. Now there's another track of drum effects. I just call it drum kit effects. Let's check that out. Whoa. Definitely some flanging and some reverb happening. Sounds like this is a mix of the drum kit sent to some kind of flange reverb patch, probably on the Eventide H3000. Oh yeah, now it's coming together. Oh, let's see. There's a mistake on this drum print. The direct floor tom is missing from this mix. I'm hearing just the reverb return of it. But I am hearing the rack tom. So that was a mistake. That it made it onto the record. But at least this one has it. That sounds like drum machine tom to me. I'm thinking this whole distorted drum mix right here was like we programmed the whole song, the pattern of the drums with the drum machine, then played on top of it and kind of blended it all together. And now we get to what I know a lot of people have been waiting for is the bass. And there's one track of bass. In fact, if you just look at this, we've got, something like 10 or 12 drums and percussion tracks. And then after that, we have a bass guitar track. There's no DI versus amp. We have a bowed upright bass. Just 2 tracks of guitar, mono each. 1 track of synth pad, 1 lead vocal track, and 1 affected lead vocal track. Same performance. So there's really not that many tracks going on here. But let's check out the bass. To me, that sounds like an amp may not even be involved. Interestingly, though, I'm hearing bleed. I'm hearing cymbal bleed on this track. Yeah, it takes a low end boost very nicely. Let's look at this bowed upright bass. It only appears in a few spots in the song, but let's hear what it's doing. Ah, yes. Ah, it's a loop. So is that something we played? I think so, because we had an upright bass. Yeah. This is Greg playing. It kind of sounds more like a cello. I don't remember if we had a cello. I thought we just had an upright bass, but it could be a cello. So he's just doing some kind of cool effects in certain spots. Oh, yeah. And then I looped him bowing the tonic of the bass line there, which I think is B flat maybe. Yeah, remember that part and this part. Now we get into the first guitar track. Did I mention that Failure likes to use very highly processed guitar sounds? No, this was definitely spatialized somehow in the mix. A lot of times what I'll do is do the split delay trick or whatever you want to call it. I will pull up a very simple Avid stereo delay, and it comes up with a preset that I've already built here called 20 millisecond split. And what that is it turns the track into a stereo track. Now, I have the mix of the delay on the left turned to 0, so that's dry. And I have the mix on the right turned up 100%, 100% wet. And the delay for the right is set to 20 milliseconds. So here's the mono track. And here it is with this 20 millisecond split. Now, with this split, because the left is dry and it's happening, before the 20 milliseconds, it actually appears more forward when you're listening. So the guitar is feels slightly shifted to the left. So maybe we'll do the same thing with the second guitar, but switch the panning. Let's listen to the second guitar. Let's bypass this. This is kind of more like a crazy effect guitar. So let's turn on the spread, but let's switch the panning. I mean, that's sort of how I remember it. Okay, got everything in except for vocals and this last track of synth pad. A thing that we did, and most people did back then, is like, you did a lot of processing as you recorded. You didn't save things to the mix to add delay and reverb and whatever crazy effects you wanted to add. You just recorded it that way. Gonna do the old split trick just to kind of down and dirty it right now. Getting everything in there. Let's check out the vocals.
That we blind ourselves again.
Let's bump up the whole region here a little bit.
Rip out that
This,
heliotropic.
Pretty sure when we recorded this record, we used this actual mic for all the lead vocals. This has been around for a long time. This is called a Shure SM7 It's meant to be used really close up with heavy compression, so you just get a very even sound, and it uses the proximity effect to make your voice sound kind of rich and boomy in the bass. That's what we used on this record, this actual one.
Living
Now, it sounds like
a phantasm of the nerves.
it's very high mid. There's almost no lows, so
Girlfriends,
probably did some pre-EQ on it.
chemicals in your head.
Okay, but what's this last track? Well, it's a printed vocal effects track generated from this lead vocal track. Very low level. Let's just bump it up here and see how that sounds. That's a blend of the two together, and this is a very familiar sound to me from listening to the album mix for so many years. So there's a rough mix. It's not the album mix. There was a lot more going on there with effects, reverbs, delays, more compression. I know we weren't going to do any other processing, but let's just throw on a bus compressor and see what happens.
Right now, one sick of everything. Tonight, we'll burn up our brains again.
It sounds like a police car. Right, so there you go, Heliotropic. That's going to wrap it up for episode 5. Thank you for watching. If you enjoyed it, please don't forget to like and subscribe, and I'll see you next time. Later.